Life Over 60. Thank you for joining me today. Today I want to talk about rejection, especially rejection when you are over 50 or over 60. It can be very difficult to feel like you can regroup. And when I talk about rejection, I mean not only perhaps rejection from a long lost or long time friend, rejection in the form of divorce. And when you are over 50 or over 60, rejection is especially hard because you feel like your life is over and you feel like you don't have enough time to regroup and carry on. But actually, even though it seems that way, it's really not the truth. When you are faced with divorce or loss of a good friendship later on in life, it makes you feel angry, resentful that you've spent so many of the years of your life invested in the relationship. But you really have to let that go. I know it's really very difficult. So I'm going to talk about 7 steps that quite a few therapists have put together to help you get over a feeling of rejection and to help you get over the feeling of loss. And the very first thing that you have to do is to recognize your feelings, feel them, don't hide them, don't try to push them under a rug and not think about them, because that is very destructive, because it will erupt later on, maybe in a magnified way. So feel those feelings that you're feeling, feelings of rejection, feeling of betrayal, feelings of being alone, and actually feelings that something in your life, a big hole has been put in your heart, in your life. All of those are real feelings, and all of those feelings you have to recognize, you have to allow yourself to feel them, because by feeling them, they will disappear more quickly. The second thing is that to really understand, because you are experiencing a loss, that you will go through the stages of grief, of denial, of numbness. Then the reality sets in, of pain, anxiety, and finally you will go to accept what has happened. But do realize that you will go through all of the stages of grief because you really have lost something in your life. The third thing is to recognize your pain, but think of your pain as a wave. I have had anxiety before, and anxiety comes and goes. Well, just feel your pain and your anxiety. Think of it as a wave. It goes out, and things seem to go okay for a while, but then it comes back in and it hits you. And then it goes out again and that comes back in. So accept that pain, accept that feeling of loss, of the feeling of it's okay, it's not okay. It's okay, it's not okay. Just think of those feelings washing over yourself. And pretty soon, the waves will get smaller and the waters will become calm. But you have to feel those emotions. You have to let them out. You have to accept that you will have good days and you'll have bad days. But the further away the winds go, the further away the storm in your life has gone, then the more calm the waves will be and the more calm you will be. but don't expect to have good days every day. But do know that the waves will slowly die down and you will be able to move on with your life. And that really is a very important thing that you really have to think about. You have enough time to move on with your life. The fourth thing is extremely important, and I think it's probably one of the most important things in this list, is to gather a support system around you, whether it be good friends, whether it be family, your children, your brothers, your sisters, your community. Gather your community around you, and it's okay to lean on them for support because they love you. They have had pain before. They have had losses in their lives. So they will understand what you're going through. So it's extremely important to embrace the people that love you, the people that understand you, and keep that support system close by because you are going to need it. Everyone needs a village to help them get through situations. So I think that's probably the one of the most major and support things that you can have. I know that when my husband was killed, I needed my mother and my father. I needed the support of those people and my good friends. I needed that to help me get through because they loved me and they understood what I was going through. The fifth thing, I think so many of us, especially women, we self-blame. Oh, if I could only have done something different. What if? Why didn't I? Stop it. Because it is what it is. You can't change it. But don't put the blame on your shoulders. Don't look back and have a lot of what is. Because that's in the past and you have to move forward. So don't beat yourself up if you've lost a dear friend, a friendship that has meant something to you. Don't beat yourself up if you are divorced and your husband has left you and you're suffering. It's not your fault. And it's in the past, it's done, and you have to move on. So embrace yourself. Say, I am worth it. I am what I have. I am worth it. So don't beat yourself up and start the self-blame game because it's not really fair to yourself. And talking about yourself, the sixth thing is to practice self-care. Do everything you can to make yourself feel good. Eat right. Start walking every day. Start exercising. Do yoga. Take up a hobby that maybe you have denied yourself because you were so involved in taking care of someone else and living through someone else and being a couple. Don't be afraid to reach out on your own and think of those things that you have always wanted to do your whole life. Whether it's to get into shape, whether it's to diet, whether it's to take singing lessons or learn how to play bridge, whatever it is that maybe you want to travel. There's nothing wrong with being a single traveler. I have met so many people on my travels of single women that they've met other single women and they are just so happy to be out and living their lives again. Don't stop your life because you have so much more to live ahead of you. So much more to live ahead of you. And the seventh thing, it's always good to talk to someone on the outside. Find a therapist that you can talk to that is not involved emotionally whatsoever in your situation. I know your family and your friends are going to be supportive of you, and that's really, really important. But it's also important that you find someone on the outside that is not emotionally invested in your pain, in your situation, in your loss, in your rejection, in your divorce. It's extremely important that you talk it out, because by talking about it, by understanding how you can get through it, that will help you heal 100%. But you have an awful lot of life ahead of you. So don't ever feel that because you've been a couple for 20, 30, sometimes even 40 years, and all of a sudden you feel betrayed and rejected. Don't feel that that is the end of your life, because as angry as you may feel now, remember that you only have a limited number of years ahead of you, and you sure as heck want to live those years to the best of your ability. And don't let anyone or any situation stop you from living your life to the fullest. You are in charge of your life. You are in charge of where you want to go. You may not have been in charge of uncoupling. You may not have been in charge of someone else's decision in that relationship, but you are in charge of you. You are in charge of your life. And think of this as a lessening of the bonds that have tied you into a situation where maybe you subconsciously were not really happy. So think of that as a sense of freedom. Thank them for freeing you so that you can go on and live a full life and reach out, because you're not hampered by someone who is holding you back. The only person now that can hold you back is you. And I know you're not going to let that happen. Rejection is a terrible thing at any age. It doesn't matter. But when you're older, it can be painful. But it's not the end of the world. And you can work it out, and you can step over it and move on. And the waves in your life that are hitting the shore and you feel like are just knocking you off of your feet, they will subside as time goes by, and they'll get smaller and smaller, and you'll be able to walk forward along the shore without worrying about waves knocking you down. I know, because I've been through loss. I've been through feeling that I have been rejected. And I know that you can, no matter how young or old you are, you can move forward and build a new you. And you know what? That really is exciting. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this has helped you if you're going through a loss of some kind, if you're going through a feeling of rejection. I hope that you will really listen to this and take this to heart, because you are worthy, and don't you ever, ever forget it. Be good to yourself today, especially be good to yourself today, and share that kindness with someone else, because you know that you are hurting inside. And of course, don't forget to share the love to all of those around you and to those that are giving you love back. Take care, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great, great day.